Hello and welcome to today's Crypto and Stocks TA live stream. Today is Monday, December 20th, 2021. It's about 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the USA. We are live right now on TradingView, YouTube, and Twitch. Let's go ahead and get started here with the crypto market. The crypto market is open globally right now. And so let's start off with the total chart. Actually, before we start, if there are any audio or video issues, sound issues with my microphone, just let me know in any of the live chat boxes, please, at any time during the stream. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're starting with total crypto market cap chart. So the first thing that we're seeing is on the day chart. Let me bring up my idea. We did the longer term idea here is we did lose this larger trend line support. That's actually a 2-year trend line support. That's on the daily. We're consolidating currently. One could call it a flag right now, this little tiny little baby flag right here, which is measurable. Potential upside down head and shoulders on this daily if we can get upside continuation. But we can measure this. Possible 5% bounce in the crypto market if we do get bull follow through. So right now we're at about 2.2 trillion market cap. The target to the upside is 2.3 trillion. 3T, the number here. But also if we happen to break down the downside target, it's negative 5% as well. So about 2.01 trillion to the downside. So those are the two targets you want to be watching out for in this market. Using TA though, I'm going to bring up some exponential moving averages here on the screen. And we can see we're holding this 200 EMA red line with essentially a upside down head and shoulders on this daily. On the MACD, we do have bull momentum. So I would not be surprised this week or next week at some point if we get a attempted bounce rally in the entire crypto market. All right, so we have to start off with that note. That's the bull case scenario, is that we could go up 5% in the market, crypto market. Because we have essentially triple bottomed in this zone off the 200 EMA, and there's a little wedge flag forming on the daily. The 4-hour is already built. We have multiple supports here in that 2.14 trillion range, which is good. On a weekly chart, we can see that just trying to establish this higher low. Anything above the 2 trillion is still good. We can see the MACD is still, and the RSI is continuing to build. So longer term, Bitcoin could be in trouble here with this monthly evening star pattern, but in the medium term, it looks like we could bounce up. So that's good for Bitcoin. Okay, but always keep in mind that there's support all the way down here. We could crash a -5 to -10% if something continues, something bad continues to happen globally in stocks, commodities, and that will spill over to crypto. Okay, let's move on here. Total 2 is doing the same thing. Total 3, very similar as well. Total 3, the altcoins have a much larger upside down head and shoulders, very obvious right here on the daily. So if we happen to break through the neckline to the upside, you might see altcoins bouncing. Possible scenario. Take a look at Bitcoin futures here. We do have Bitcoin MACD momentum. This is the CME Bitcoin futures. And you could see we have fallen down. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, trying to hold above the 200 EMA here. We double bottomed on futures. So if futures goes up, we could see 6%, maximum 12% upside for now. So those targets on Bitcoin futures would be 50,000 and 55,000 bull targets. See the MACD on the bottom, momentum is building. We have not hit oversold conditions on RSI. So I just told you the bull case scenario for Bitcoin, 50,000 to 55,000. If we happen to keep breaking down, we're looking at 44,000 and 40,000 on the downside. So please remember to use stop losses educational wise on the bottom side. One thing to note before we switch to the actual Bitcoin chart itself is that I can see here a 5-wave Elliott wave pattern on the daily. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks to me like we're just trying to finish this last 5 wave on the downside before we get an ABC correction to the upside. So it just looks like, long story short, Bitcoin trying to find its bottom price, hopefully to stop the selling, and then there's going to be a momentum bounce because shorts and futures will probably be squeezed a little bit. I would not be surprised if the rally happens after Christmas, because psychologically people need to rest and get confident and excited again about the crypto market. So I would not be surprised if the rally attempts like right before Christmas weekend, and then we might see some follow through. But trying to time the market like that, it just depends on if people are going to come into the market and buy. It's simple as that. And what happens globally. All right, so let's go ahead and actually move to the Bitcoin chart itself finally. And why am I spending so much time on these other ones is because they have a lot more clues than if you just pop open a Bitcoin chart itself. Let me open up a Bitstamp. Let's get a clean chart. No. Let me use a Bitfinex and erase everything. Let's get a clean chart for this Bitcoin. Okay, so even before looking at indicators, if we're going to consider this our double top right here in the blue, we can measure that. That was negative 16%. Did we go negative 16%? We did, yes. We even almost went 2 times that target, and we're still about negative 20% since the double top formation. From the top here at $69,000 Bitcoin, we're down 32% from that high. This all-time high, we're down 32%. So that would bring us down to our first 1/3 retracement on this Fibonacci, depending on where you're doing it from. Okay. If I do it from here, it's a 786. So that is that 1/3 retracement in terms of the full 1-to-1 top to bottom, so to speak. If we go back to April 2021, May 2021 levels, we're hovering right above the 618 level, which is $44,000 Bitcoin. So we need to hold above $44,000 Bitcoin, definitely hold above 40,000 to get a chance at any type of rally. Because we did this one candle here on, what day was this? December 4th, you could see that we did penetrate right into the 618 zone, meaning there were buying orders stacked down here, oversold conditions, and there are some buying swing trader orders right inside the 618 zone. Bounced up here, but we're still fading down. But we've seen this setup happen before where we have a large retracement pullback down, and then we start consolidating a little bit sideways. All we need is a little bit of positive news or momentum to get the pop up on Bitcoin to 50,000, possibly $53,000 Bitcoin. These are our targets. Just a matter of time. We need to find the bottom on this Bitcoin price for now, and those EMAs are the targets on the upside, because you can see here, there's a very common setup, happens on Bitcoin all the time. What am I talking about? If people need it to be highlighted, I am talking about this pink line right here and this pink line, December 17 and September 27. So if we just compare these two, okay, it might be kind of, let me turn the EMAs off so you can see. What am I talking about? We have a retracement down, and then we find some sideways support, right? Retracement down. How much was this? 20% retracement down, and then we find double bottom support, and then we bounce off the really good news, the FOMC news on Bitcoin. So a similar setup could be occurring here where we have a large pullback. This time it's negative 30% down. But what I'm looking for is we're seeing it now. We're starting to see some consolidation to the side, and our MACD has crossed up on the daily. So that could be enough for a signal. We have some momentum on RSI and MACD on a daily chart. It could take 1 to 2 weeks to come to fruition if that happens. But if you're patient, stop loss, risk management, small position size, might be able to catch this trade. There is downside risk, however. Always remember the -5 to -10% downside risk is always there because we could reject from this 4-hour 50 EMA at 48,000 and pull back another all the way down to 44 or 40,000. It's definitely possible because these types of wedges can break down. And that's the risk of trading. The wedges can break down. So the measurement is, again, that 10% or 5% conservative. So there's 5 to 10% volatility in Bitcoin incoming. Okay, so just need to point that out to people. And again, if you have a request for a crypto or stock, now's the time. I'm only doing about 25 more minutes of crypto, and we're going to switch over to stocks. So I'm going to move over to Ethereum. Let's do some similar analysis on Ethereum here. Again, if there are any audio or video issues, please let me know in the chat box as well. And we can see here our Ethereum is fading down a little bit slower, but we did find this sideways consolidation. And so why it's getting really suspicious is a lot of altcoins will have the very same similar setup. Is you have a kind of flag edit here. This one for Ethereum is about 6%. That's a nice bounce. If we go to 4,200, that's the upside target. 6% to downside would bring us back down to support 3,700. So for example, if somebody's going to try to swing this, if I was trying to swing this for educational example, stop loss 6% to the downside, or 5%, you target maybe a 8%. So maybe a 4% stop loss could get stopped out, but that's managing your risk right there. Okay, so something like that. Because there is a setup here, you have double momentum. It's not low RSI, but you have this momentum setup that we see on total on Bitcoin. So there's a slight leap, greater than 50% chance we might bounce up here on Ethereum and a lot of altcoins. But remember that if something negative, bearish happens in the stock market or news fundamental wise, you can see there's plenty of room to crash down on all altcoins about -10%. So -5 to -10%. So we want to watch out for that risk. The fact though is on a lot of these short-term time frames though, you see a lot of candle body wicks here on Ethereum on these altcoins on the downside. So there are support buyers here for now, swing traders. Let's move on to Binance Coin. Binance Coin, we do have this big X marks the spot, which would have been a nice area of value. Why did I mark that? Because you have trendline support, yellow trendline support all the way back from July 2021, EMA 200 red support level, and a Fibonacci 50% retracement. So there's 3 levels of support right at 460. I'm going to leave that X there as a much longer term target. But for now, short term in these intraday setups, we're finding support at the 100-day EMA, the orange line, $520. So for now, it's going to see, are we going to be able to hold that even above 500? Can we hold that on Binance Coin and get at least a lower high bounce up to somewhere in this yellow circle range, about 550? That's what we're seeking. We need that relief bounce. It would be horrible in all altcoins if we just continue to crash, but for now, finding some temporary support. But I understand though, if you zoom out and understand what's happening in the world right now, is there's Omicron variants worldwide, especially in the US. It has spread very fast in the past week or two. And so a lot of people are getting tested, vaccinated, booster shots, vaccines before the Christmas holiday and New Year's holiday here in the USA for the next 2 weeks. For students, school should be over by now, like finals and all those exams should be over around by now. And so some people might be taking holiday, right? So we don't want to get fooled that just because the market's quiet, that there's going to be no volatility, because the volatility will come back in either direction. It's when all the traders come back to the market. And maybe when Omicron calms down a little bit. But these are the setups that we're seeing. Okay, I'm just calling out what I'm seeing right here without trying to forecast like too far into the future. So We have this momentum building. It's only a matter of time. Last time, how long did it take with news? It still took about 2 weeks. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month. Okay, so these are much longer term setups. They're not going to expire in 5 minutes, these setups. So we can just relax a little bit in the technical analysis. So those are the bull targets, like a 550, bear target like a 500. So that's still, again, plus or minus 5%. If you're thinking like, oh, 5% is nothing. Well, in crypto, if you can capture 5% consistently, safely, you're doing great. Okay, ADA, Cardano. We'll do a little bit of Cardano. So again, why did I mark this X marks a spot with the blue X above this trend line? Is because you have double support. You have trend line support on the yellow line. And then you also have a horizontal support. You look left right here in the blue area. So this is our support zone above $1.20. Definitely dollar is the last line in the sand, which is why I put a gray line here. But Cardano, you can see the MACD is showing us that there is some momentum here, but we don't want to get fooled here because you could see an example. Let's look at this. For example, it might be hard to see, but if you only use MACD, for example, and in this blue circle right here, this blue circle, just because you get the MACD up cross or you see some histogram green does not mean we're going sky high. We're not mooning just because that one spot. So here's a perfect example of where Cardano, any altcoin or crypto, you could get a relief bounce. It was a small bounce in the circle here. 10%, that's a lot. But then you should see we topped out and we fell down negative 20% from that lower high. Okay, so we could see that happen here. We could get like a 10% bounce, top out, fall back one more time, and then get another rally because the trend low, high, low. We should get a high bounce, lower high bounce, and then pull back down if it's going to turn into a textbook downstairs downtrend. But we did double bottom on this RSI. It's very suspicious right here. This is almost upside down head and shoulders in RSI. Consolidation flattening here. So it looks like Cardano, altcoins, Cardano, it wants to bounce. Let's do a little bit more here. Solana, the big favorite of 2021. We are holding above our 100-day EMA, but if you just look at the price on a line chart, it is downtrending on the daily in this circle right here. We are not uptrending anymore. We're not uptrending anymore. We are downtrending for now. EMAs, we did have this relief bounce. We're still stuck under the EMA resistances, our moving average resistances. You can see here the downtrend textbook. So if we do, for Solana is a little different. We need to establish a higher low right here around above 160 and then try to maintain an uptrend if we're going to get that reversal. If that doesn't happen, you can see potentially a retest of the 140 range. So on Solana, it looks a little different than other coins, okay? Because Cardano was like way more down here, okay? But Solana is at the resistance. But let's not get fooled by anything, because if all coins are going to bounce, this could easily just continue right here. So what ranges are we playing between? For Solana, I would set a support level and a resistance level above, and then just set those two alerts here. That's probably the easiest way to try to alert yourself that something might happen here. If we want to look at 15 minutes, sure. Sure, if somebody's a day trader watching this, then yes, all we need to do is keep maintaining a higher low pattern to get out of here in terms of the downtrend, right? We're right at this, maybe just below that trend line support, so we need buyers to come in on the intraday for Solana. Hourly, we did hit that oversold bounce. There was already this oversold bounce on the 1 hour 8 hours ago, so like a day ago, 5%. Okay, so now we're just consolidating right now. No problem, happens all the time. So Solana's slightly different because we already had the bounce. It happened a little early. Dogecoin. All right, so if you watched my stream last time, like literally one day before the Dogecoin bounce, it happened. We called it. I called it on the stream, and somebody thanked me for that in the chat box last week. So that's why if we just really try to analyze our coins and get ahead of the crowd hype, you can catch it. Did anybody know that Elon Musk was going to release that news on Dogecoin? Probably not. Almost nobody, right? But you get that bounce, but it didn't last very long. Very, very short-term bounce. This is a beautiful trade, but this is one of those trades where you need alerts or you need your sell orders ahead of time, or it's very difficult to trade this. It happened very fast. For me, it happened at 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. So that this particular trade is overnight. You need alerts, you need automatic sell order, you need stop loss, you need that kind of take profit stuff, orders. So moving forward till now, again, you're getting a little bit of suspicious MACD momentum opening here. If we ignore those candle wicks for a second, still we're finding a possible upside down head and shoulders on the daily. It's possible. So all altcoins looking very suspicious. The measured move here is about 10 to 12% from the neckline. If we do go up, 10% would be about 19 cent to 20 cent Dogecoin. Very nice. But don't be fooled. The longer term pattern is we have a daily death cross on our EMAs. We have a double death cross, 50, 100 under the 200 EMA. I mean, that itself can confirm the downtrend, but we might bounce into the resistance. And one scenario would be downtrend continuation as such. But if for whatever reason, fundamentally this month or next month, this could be a temporary bottom and we could try to see a retest to the upside challenge. Let's go ahead and skip to Shiba Inu because I know a lot of people like that coin and related to Doge in some aspects. I just want to point out that this blue highlight from last week's stream is basically right where the support landed today. Okay, so it's very important that support and resistance, trend lines, trend, I mean, that's the foundations of technical analysis, classic technical analysis. It works on every asset on all time frames. So this is why I stick to that method because it actually works. Right? If somebody put their support order somewhere right in the blue highlight, you're already up 8%, probably with the 4% or 5% stop loss to downside. Okay, but moving forward, you can see just a little green tick today on the close. Looks like we might get a nice dead cat bounce to the upside on Shiba Inu. This one is more volatile than usual. Large retracement down, 62% down from the all-time high. If we, from counterbody close, 68% from all-time high to now. So it would make sense we would bounce here. That's one of the levels for intermediate and advanced traders. So how would you play this? Well, first off, understand that no coin is safe in crypto, and there's tremendous risk on every single crypto coin. Nothing's safe. This is not financial advice, educational. But how do you play this thing is where you look at the targets, you measure, you might have to use ATR, for example. We could bring up an ATR, average true range, to see on the daily in the last 14 days, how much does this thing move? About 400 USDT. So if we measure that 400, what is that? 12% volatility, very, very volatile coin. So a minimum of 6% stop loss. Probably you might have to use a 12% stop loss and try to target your maybe 20%. It's possible. You've seen it happen on Shiba Inu back here. It went 40% pop before crashing down. This is a Doji coin, so there's some Doji candle down here on today's close, previous day's close. So it looks like we might see the bounce soon. But this is not an all-in type of situation because it's not a. It depends though. It's not really all in though. It's just a nice trade setup. Shiba Inu looking very nice for a potential bounce. It's just more volatile than all the other coins. If you can clarify, NON, is that a crypto or is that a stock? Can you be very specific, please? We already did BTC USD for like the first 10 minutes, so you might have to watch that replay. I might do it at the end of the stream. But rapid fire, let's just go down all these coins really fast and just see if anything else pops up before we switch over to stocks in about 5 minutes. If you have another request besides Bitcoin, maybe we could do that one. So just look at these charts really fast. Looking at Uni. Uni still finding support at $14. Litecoin finding support above 138. Cash is following Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash. Very similar patterns. We're looking for anything out of the ordinary, something that might show us the leading indicator. Chainlink has an upside down head and shoulders on RSI. On the daily, that's powerful. Algo it's not quite there yet on Algo. I don't see the MACD histogram momentum turning green, so Algo might be a little too early for a daily. The 4 hours there is double bottom RSI. If anybody is looking at Algo. MATIC's already in an uptrend, so MATIC is not an oversold play. MATIC would be a continuation play. It's much riskier, right? If you like, watch this. Check this out. MATIC, if you look at the price, it's already in an uptrend. You see that, right? If you switch down to XLM, XLM's in a downtrend. It's a totally different story from MATIC. So that sticks out to me as MATIC's already been a lead bull. You can see it's because we already had the upside down head and shoulders at the end of November, right here in this blue. This is why. Right, upside down head and shoulders right off a 100-day EMA. And day traders are going to buy that. If you keep getting continuation like this, you get an uptrend. Right. Also, we had this triangle that we called out on the stream, like I called it out like a month ago, maybe a couple of weeks ago, that there's a triangle here on MATIC. So there's support all here. That's why traders are buying that. All right. But MATIC's not an oversold play anymore. It's not oversold. Stellar is closer to that support level oversold range. It looks very similar. It's not the bottom of any price yet, but it's getting pretty close. Cosmos. Let's see, is this 618? It is. So Cosmos, my alert fired off. This is why you need to use alerts. You could set up something like this. If you put a 618 Fibonacci right here, the measure move of this parallel channel to the downside, this is where the support is. We're right in it right now. This is where it separates. Hold on. Okay, so this is what separates like pure beginners or people starting out versus experienced advanced traders is, for example, on Cosmos, this is what I'm thinking. My mind works like this. And it's not just my mind, it's technical analysis. So for example, you have a parallel channel here. This is how you can actually measure stuff, measure assets, get targets. You have a parallel channel, you can measure this thing 40%. Where do we fall down? Okay, 30%. Let me see here. 30 to 40%. Okay. And we hit that first target. So if the measure moves actually 40%, there's a little bit of space to go down. It just hit that 35% and then people are buying down here. It's never perfect, one for one, right on the dot to the cent. It's not going to be like that. It's just you're in the general zone. And the question is as a trader and as a market analyst, is this a good relative spot to possibly get a bounce? The answer probably is yes. It's not the lowest of all time, but because the entire market looks like it wants to bounce, like somewhere in here on Atom in the zone above $20 could be our temporary bottom before we just have one pump up like that. But that's swing trading. That is literally what swing traders try to do. Filecoin this here, perfect example of a descending triangle breakdown. And I marked all these levels of support. We actually broke through most of them to the downside. Very interesting. You can measure this thing, right? 30% to downside. We went exactly 33%. So that's why we hit this oversold, and this MACD momentum is starting to point to the upside. Why? Because we need, eventually, if it's textbook, we need the lower high bounce. High bounce, you can measure it. That's large bounce of Filecoin, but Filecoin is very volatile. But the thing you should note here is you don't get excited about crypto mooning at this point, because if you're really sensitive to your indicators, you understand the longer term picture is we have death crosses on a lot of these altcoins, meaning downtrend. Filecoin is downtrending. VeChain just death crossed about 5 days ago. Ethereum Classic death crossed 2 weeks ago, a week ago. Death crossed on XDC today. HBAR already had a nice bounce. So HBAR, here's the interesting. This is where you get this oversold upside down head and shoulders, nice double bottom bounce off 21 cents. This is what swing traders love. EGLD, the momentum's building. If this 200 EMA does not hold, then we could. It's gonna probably fall down to like $200 psychological price. EOS here, very interesting. All these original targets, right? You can measure the triangle, 40% to downside, 22%. We hit the 40% on this candle wick. Consolidating to the side, if we can hold above the $3 EOS would be nice, because there's a target up here of like 320, 350, 380. AAVE, very interesting double bottom, upside down head and shoulders off this symmetrical triangle breakdown. And it's going to be great to see if AVE can hold this, because if it can hold and bounce, there's a nice little small swing trade opportunity here, 18% to the upside, which would be nice. Okay, IOTA, finding support, triple bottom support above $1. So we need to hold above that for any kind of bounce. I'm not going to do all of these. We could see here, right? If I draw this little green box, the risk reward was only 3% loss, right? You don't hold things down forever if you're a trader. Waves, similar. This is like a candle body wick upside down head and shoulders, but it's not a perfect one. But you do have some bullish momentum here. It's just a matter of where's the market going to stop before it bounces. Maker with the death cross on the 50, 100 EMAs. Sorry, I can't read Russian. There is a, but thank you for tuning in and watching. We have an upside down head and shoulders on Maker. Very interesting. You can see here, whoop. Yeah, upside down head and shoulders. Very sensitive, but just death cross. So it looks like we might bounce into the EMA. That's what like all these cryptos like it wants to do. HNT already with a little bit of a bounce off of the trend line support. OMG hovering to the side, but with the death cross. So it could just be short, a little baby short squeeze. That's what it feels like is about to happen in the market. Let me get to some of these coins. One Harmony coin with already the bounce like a H bar. So H bar and one have been our lead altcoins, and this is the type of scenario I'm saying that could happen, because a lot of coins are stuck here at the blue circle, right? Because we had this triangle, the pennant, and if we actually. Great, thank you for that translation, so I don't have to copy paste that. Thank you for watching and tuning in. Hope you have a nice night. Have a nice weekend. Yeah, I usually use Google Translate, but because I'm doing charting right now. All right, thank you everybody. So 20%, we have 20 to 25% off of this. This is that setup on crypto that happens like a lot. It's just this is always unpleasant when you have a crash for like 2 weeks. Always unpleasant to see and to experience that. But at some point, you find a relative bottom. You find a relative bottom and you bounce. Where? You could measure the move. That was a 30% beautiful bounce on Harmony, and we went exactly 30%. So TA works if you're just patient enough. You see the double bottom setup. I love seeing this. You get a double bottom off of support level, horizontal and indicator. You get low RSI, you get MACD momentum up. This is the swing trader's dream right here. The swing trader's dream. Day traders love it too. They get to both sides. Bulls and bears get to just do whatever they want in there, try to make their trades. But swing traders, this is what we live for, right? You just get that one candle body wick for confirmation. You get your stop loss, which is a large stop loss, 7%, but then there was 4-to-1 reward to risk. With potential continuation. It's just a beautiful setup. Dash, you can see it here, everything consolidating to the side. Comp, very similar. It appeared. Mana, not so much, because Mana already had this huge run up and a pullback down. So Mana is not probably going to be our lead bull in this next pump up, because Mana has just went up hundreds of percent. So you could get a top reversal here. I want to watch out for that in case that happens. That's why this Fibonacci is here. We're just hovering above the 50%, and the MACD momentum's building, but you could see Mana is pretty volatile. You might see a flash crash down into like 240 before you get a bounce up. We went way over time. Okay, let me do let me do AVAX before we move on. I think AVAX is just on the bottom of my list for some reason. I was trying to get to it. AVAX already had this bounce. So AVAX 1 H bar have been our lead crypto bulls in the altcoin space. So you can see we had the setup and the double bottom off the 100 EMA. This one started probably on a 5-minute 15 chart, and we're just getting continuation at this point. Go look at a 1 hour. The 1 hour is too short for this. We look at our 4 hour. You could see we had our setup. We had our support above the 50% range 4 times $75. And then you can draw the triangle. It was this triangle pattern. Once we break above it, and then back test. Like, how many times have you heard me say this, right? On the stream? It's almost every stream this setup exists. September 7th repeat. Almost to the dot is this. Boom, lower high. Consolidate inside of a triangle. The first breakout retest is the signal to go long. And there we had it. So sometimes I don't even pay attention to RSI. It's just if you know the price patterns well enough and you're there awake at that time. For me, it was about like midnight my time. Not impossible to try to catch this trade. I could have put a stop loss and went to sleep. For example, you only needed 3% and you could have captured 30%. But AVAX is very volatile. It's not the most liquid coin on the planet. It's newer on Binance. But for if you're looking for continuation, you might not get it on AVAX. Okay, you have to be careful of these kinds of coins because it's already up. So if you're trying to chase this thing, be very, very careful. Small amount of capital, small amount of small stop loss on the bottom side because it's already run up 30%. So you want to watch out for that. You want to watch out for that. Okay. Because here is lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And this is a short squeeze right here. This is a short squeeze and bulls trying to push up the momentum as high as possible. Ready? So again, on this stream, I went over time because I haven't streamed for a week. So 40 minutes of crypto, and you can see a lot of altcoins could bounce. So I would keep an eye on them if you're a crypto swing trader. Day traders, they probably already played the bounce on AVAX, YFI, HBAR. That was all them. Okay, then now it's the swing trader's turn to see if we could get continuation, swing trading style. So not all of the coins have bounced. There's still potential opportunity if we can catch one of these. You have to be very clear. Does that mean we're uptrending forever? Are we going to moon to 100,000 Bitcoin now? Probably not. We're just going to go to the resistance with a potential retest. Icon, death cross today. Hit that oversold, trying to get a relief bounce going on. All right, we looked at all cryptos for now. All right, let's move over to stocks. Might go a little bit over today on stocks, but we have to switch over to that. So quick word is I am streaming live here on TradingView, YouTube, Twitch. I have a free Discord group that's free to anybody to join. I release a weekly watch list of stock index, crypto indexes, Bitcoin, and stock earnings and some economic data. And usually they indicate what the story, the narrative is going to be for the week on CNBC and Bloomberg. So you can get ahead of other people. You don't have to wait for the news to react because you already know the schedule, basically. That's one big important factor of the stock market is it's like a corporate business. If you ever worked at a corporation or business, I have before, multiple companies, many companies, and the stock market is like the ultimate corporate business. There's always a schedule. There's always a calendar. There's always a something that's going to happen. My ID on Twitch is the same name. You could probably find me on everything using these two tags, like this, or spaced out like that, like this. Okay, so it's just my name. It's my name. But the Twitch stream, it's just the same. The TradingView stream is, and the YouTube stream are probably the two best because more people are active on those platforms. So again, there's a schedule on everything. There's a schedule on everything. Even for Bitcoin, there's a schedule. If you like a crypto calendar, if you really want to get into it, there's a schedule for everything. So that's what you have to kind of pay attention to, just not isolating ourselves into one time frame chart like a 5 minute and only staring at this one chart and ignoring everything else that's happening in the world right now. Is you get tunnel vision. You might make a mistake that way in the market. Mistakes mean losing money. We don't want that to happen too many times. Okay, so let's move over to the stock market. We change gears here, change mentality. What's happening in the stocks? Federal Reserve tapering program related to bond market and inflation. We have COVID Omicron variant fears, which are real. Okay, Omicron is real. It's really affecting people right now and the economy, stock market. I know students have just finished up their finals and exams last week and this week. They're probably on holiday break. Families are probably getting in the USA are probably preparing for Christmas weekend this weekend, New Year's weekend next weekend. So this Friday and the stock market is closed. Keep that in mind. Stock market this Friday is closed. It's Christmas Eve here in the USA. So that's going to affect the volatility for the next 3-4 days here in the market. Let me check my weekly watch list. Also, we have some economic data, the final GDP, consumer confidence, home sales, price index, durable good orders. That all has an effect on the indexes. Stock earnings volatility, we have Micron reported, BlackBerry, Nike, General Mills, Rite Aid, and CarMax. Not the most powerful stocks in the entire market, but still you can try to capture some of that volatility if you're a day trader here. I do not recommend trading on the same earnings day, however. Maybe wait a day or two for things to calm down. All right, so Dow Jones, we'll try to speed this up here in the last 15-20 minutes. Dow Jones, What's going on here? Well, before we even turn on our indicators, just look at the price. What I was saying on my ideas, if you follow me on TradingView, is we have a topping out zone here in the upper 36,000 range here on the upside. What happened is we crashed down, bounced back up, found the top, established our lower high, and we pulled back down about 50% of the way of this move. Or more, 618. I love the tools. So visually it looked like 50%, but if you want to get real accurate, 618. So every swing trader's dream right there, 618. Right on a trend line. Nice. Very beautiful setup for day traders today. So are we at a low RSI point? Not really, no. On daily. For intraday traders, 15-minute, 1 hour, is it oversold? The answer is yes. So we can see the lower low, lower high, gap down on COVID Omicron sell-off. And so I would not be surprised if we attempt to rally tomorrow morning, 6:30, 9:30 a.m., your time zone. We need to really hold the support though. The support level we established right now, because it's the trend line. It's a deep trend line from a long time ago, from the beginning of 2021. So this is the first battle. If we lose this battle this week and next week, then we're falling down to 34,000 or lower, 33,000. Watch out for that, because this pattern here, lower low, lower high, you could see that if we start losing that, it's going to establish the next low. And then we could try to bounce up, retest. If that fails, then we're in probably bear market territory over time. So we want to watch out for that. That's the downside. If we go upside about 1%, very nice potential bounce here. For intraday traders, investors are not as excited about that. If you're on a weekly time frame, we just set our weekly lower high, so we could get downside continuation over the next month or so. So investors have a totally different mindset. Okay, SPX. What I was saying on my idea, I released 10 ideas last week in a row, multiple assets. The most important for S&P 500 is this triple top resistance right here at 4,700. That is not good. Tested once, 2 times, 3 times, and now the market is obviously saying we have a problem resistance. Let's pull back down to where any of our EMAs for support. We did bounce off the 4,500 level this morning. The 4 hours, not completely oversold, but again, it's that 1 hour bounce. So what this reminds me of is it could start out to be a continuation of late November, early December, this pattern. Because if we start to just bounce around in here, see the repeat of the price pattern happening once again. Why is that happening? Last month it was tapering fears. This month it's COVID Omicron problem. Even in the stock market sell-off. So where are the targets? Our support at 4,500, 4,490, 4,450, all the way down in this lower range. We can pivots to give you a visual of that. Resistance above 4,600 or 4,680. Watch out for that. On a weekly chart, this turned into a weekly double top, which is not good. It's kind of hard to see. So if you actually line chart it, you could have a negative 4% down turn in the next 3 to 6 months. That would bring us all the way down to 4,300. That would be a significant pullback down in the S&P 500. We have not really had a double top on a weekly for a long time. The last double top formation we had was the COVID crash. So this is very suspicious to me on the weekly. You're losing momentum with the double top right when the Federal Reserve is going to start their tapering program of pulling back support, financial support. So there could be a problem here. NASDAQ, IXIC, you can already see the daily downtrend broke down through all of our supports to the downside. We're just above this trend line here. So this trend line support we need to hold. What would show us a reversal is the Morningstar pattern. We need to see one green candle tomorrow. We need to see that, and that would signal reversal here on the daily. But the 4 hours and the 1 hours, I'm going to zoom in here. We're just trying to hold that support level right there. Just bounced off that pivot point. and we're trying to hold it and get an uptrend reversal. So NASDAQ already crashed down a little faster today, like you saw Tesla sell off today. That had an effect on Bitcoin as well. I was watching that early this morning. So where are our targets to the upside? Keep like a 15,000 somewhere here. And the 14,000, like 800 would be our support level. Let's speed up a little bit. Let me go to, let's take a quick glance at gold spot because I did do that idea, published that idea. So gold spot still in the descending triangle, which is a little hard to see. So we could draw it here. It's descending triangle, that one piercing. That's why it's good to always draw the descending wedge, descending triangle right there. And so what's going on with gold is it's not a bottom level of support. Okay, so this is not the greatest value of gold if you're trying to buy this thing and trade it, because there was so many 3 times where we hit this year the lowest level of gold this year is 1685. For now, what this looks like is just a higher low attempt. It's trying to hold this trend line, the intermediate trend line. You can see we're riding it now. We circle right here, we just bounced above it. So this might turn into a symmetrical triangle type of deal. If that is true, we might get 2% to about 5% breakout, but we need to see the breakout actually happen, confirm it. So just like Bitcoin, like one of those altcoins we saw earlier today, when you see a breakout, retest, and bounce up. If not, it can tighten up in here and then break down. So, not the clearest setup on gold. Might have to go intraday for some more clues. There is MACD momentum, but it's not, lowest RSI ever. Eventually, we might see a little relief bounce on it. And people might run into gold as a safe haven as possible. Okay, XAG, silver, USD, this idea actually saved. So we are at the double bottom trend line support. So silver setup looks a little better than gold because it's towards the bottom of the range, right? And as traders, swing trader, we love that. We like support. Support's our best friend because that's how you make money in the market. So where's the target? Up here at 5 to 10% to the upside. Beautiful target. So silver looking like could bounce, but I wouldn't be surprised if it pulls back one more time and then we bounce, because shorts and options like to push things down first as far as possible. So it looks like the range here about 5% volatility. So this is a much, much larger swing trade possible, because if you do 5% to downside on a small to medium sized capital, you probably have to target 10%. How long could that take? It could take 2 months. But if it happens to uptrend, I mean, this is the exact spot you might want to be interested in silver. Okay, let's do oil, natural gas, and we'll move on. Somebody has a question about TLT, the Treasury, I believe. Let's take a look at that. We'll look at US oil first. And it's all messy because it's my idea. If you want to see a cleaner chart, just look at my TradingView profile. I have all these ideas printed for December 2021 for reference and for targets, if you know how to use the charts. So a little bit of potential upside down head and shoulders action. And we do see here, this is why Bitcoin might bounce as a commodity itself, because you have this downtrend deep here, bounce up, lower high, just bouncing off the 6.5 Fibonacci, trying to establish the higher low. So it's the bulls that need to prove with the buying power that we can buy, even though there's COVID, Omicron, and Federal Reserve tapering issues globally for the US market as well, right? What I'm saying is higher low. If we can hold this, we need to see one more bounce attempt at least. The best case scenario for bulls is we can push up to $56 oil. If that is not possible, then we might just go up here to like $50 or $51. So it looks like it might want to consolidate a little bit before the market decides, or the news decides, are we going to crash on oil, or are we going to actually be okay? So the psychology of the market is definitely in play here. But I want point out that we did find a temporary bottom on oil, which is about $45, and the intermediate temporary bottom for today was about 48. So it's not the lowest. We could crash down one more time, which could make a perfect setup like that, and then find that bottom before we bounce. So those are the two scenarios that could happen. If we're going to bounce now, this would likely be our higher low. We could bounce up to like 52. If not, we're going to go bear. It's going to crash down one more time, and then you can capture the bounce here. So there's two ways to play this depending on conservative versus aggressive trading. Stop loss is always required. So to take a, for example, like how does that even look on the charts? It looks like this exactly. This blue circle. I'm wondering if it's going to repeat and turn into this blue circle here. Because you can see, right, you get a higher low bounce, you can bounce up for like 2 days and then pull back down deep, right? So you can come here, bounce up for 2 days and then pull back down deep. And then a lot of very experienced traders are waiting, or people who want to load up on this might buy several times. So there's two scenarios there on US oil. Let's go to UNG, kind of a messy chart. Again, if you want cleaner charts in my profile. But the double bottom right here on UNG, beautiful, beautiful, love it. If you're a swing trader, this is what you dream to see about double bottom, low RSI, MACD momentum. And I was saying that when it hit the 618, we lost it actually a couple days later. Then I knew, okay, we're probably going to hover above the 786 Fibonacci. We got this double bottom. So it's a relatively simple target if it's going to be textbook trading. Going to be textbook trading. 6% to 12% bounce on natural gas ETF UNG if it happens. So with the stop loss here, small amount of capital. This is not financial advice. Do 6% to downside, 12% target. And for stocks, you can put your stop loss and your take profit and then just let go of the trade. Small to medium sized amount of capital. Calculate how much maximum dollar risk on this trade you have, and then you let go of the trade. And then you let the TA, the market just play out. Just let it play. So we had a deep 786 retracement, UNG looking very interesting as a swing trade, bounce long attempt. Wow, let's read this amazing comment here from Taylor. Thank you for all your free education. Because of these streams, he made 175% return on a Tesla put options he exited this morning. Smiley face. Thank you so much, Taylor. So happy to hear that because of these streams, it's helping you make money and helping you chart and analyze and manage your own risk and account. So happy to hear you made 175% return on a Tesla put. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. You know what? Let me take a picture. Let me take a picture of this comment, this beautiful comment. There we go. All right. So thank you so much for the 500 coins, Taylor. Wish you all the best in happy holidays this week. And let's try to make, have a nice year next year as well. Profitable year next year as well. Taylor's been a long time follower here. All right. So with that amazing hype in the chat, we're looking at UNG. Oh, excuse me. Thank you so much, Taylor. She made 175% return. Wonderful trade. Wonderful. Okay, so UNG, again, we might have a setup here, 6%. Very interesting. Very interesting. 6 to 12%. So let's not forget about UNG. UNG had an incredible run from March to November with the head and shoulder. Let me just make sure this head and shoulders target is completed here. 30% to downside. Yeah, the head and shoulders, yes. Downside target, first target has been completed. And so I would not be surprised if shorts let go here and this thing bounces up 50%. UNG looking very, very interesting. But let's think of Tesla. and RIVN. Let's just take a look at it at some point on the stream. I do want to stop at here at this point on Pfizer and Moderna. Okay, why? Because Pfizer and Moderna, in the US at least, are basically the two big vaccine producers. Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. Those are the big three. But Pfizer and Moderna, because of their booster shots and the research, you keep seeing news on it every week now with this Omicron variant and vaccines and booster shots. So what can we learn from Pfizer is maybe all I need to show is the resistance. We had a gap fill. We kept from November to December. This is where you have a kind of a hype rally, uptrend rally. Okay, all we need to know though was this top line here, $50. I believe I called it. It must have been a month ago though. The $50 is our resistance. If we break through that, you might see the common set of breakout, retest, uptrend because of all this vaccine booster news. But $61, is that the top of Pfizer? Who knows, right? Nobody really knows where the top of a move might end. We can measure it, however, using some Fibonacci tools. Yes, I saw that on the news as well. Let's measure this. We could talk about the schools closing in New Jersey and New York. Just saw that this morning. So it's pretty serious, right? Omicron is like more serious than Delta, because Delta, we didn't have massive shutdowns. Omicron is spreading so fast, that's why people are locking down. We could use excuse me, let's go back to TA. We could do trend-based Fibonacci to get some kind of basic target here. So if we just do this, this is more advanced for people who are just starting out, but you could see that this last leg that we went up, we call it a leg in trading terms, charting terms, the last leg up, the last swing up, the last move up. We hit our 1272 target on 1618. I mean, we had a full 2.0 retracement to the upside. I mean, at a maximum, we're relatively, where can we go? 70 to 75 dollar Pfizer if it, like Omicron doesn't stop and then Pfizer becomes the #1 vaccine booster producer and everybody starts getting that shot, or they make a pill, COVID pill treatment or something like that, then you could see it maximum uptrend to $75. But for now, on the shorter term time frames, it does look like we have a temporary top right here. You kind of see a head and shoulders on the RSI. The MACD 4-hour just down ticked on a red, so we could see pullback on this double top here at $62. Want to watch out for that. Okay, next on Moderna. I remember somebody asked me literally about a month ago, should they go long Moderna? And he asked me right here, which was the bottom of the lower low. I forgot who that was, but I remember that guy. He asked me, should I buy some Moderna? And I said, well, this is why we drew the yellow box here. I'd say if we break out above that, you get a retest, then you might go up to this other gap. That's why you draw two lines like that. And then after we topped out here, we pulled back down to the support and bounced up. So Moderna's not the safest anymore because it's so volatile. It was the hottest vaccine stock for like a year and a half. But now, because there's other players like Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson, it's not the hottest stock anymore, and it's retraced quite a bit. But we can see if we use TA and less fundamentals, more TA, it's in a type of wedge. See that here, right? This actually looks better. I'm not going to erase the top one. You can see this triangle looks way better because it hit the target exactly, and we're just hovering above that 200 EMA. So it looks like we want to hold. It could consolidate here in Moderna, and if something good happens, you break to the upside. If something bad happens, like they get beat out on a vaccine or a pill, then you get downtrend continuation. But this is a perfect example of why you set support and resistance support, and alerts, and you could try to play this, play these stocks. The swing trader. Day traders must have had a beautiful day today. 13% volatility to the downside. Shorts are rejoicing jumping for joy right now if they happen to make that play successful today. You can see these vaccines coming back. Volatility, it's kind of late though, right? It's kind of like 2-3 weeks late. So might not want to jump into those just yet. Let's end with Tesla and Rivian because it's such a volatile asset right now. And again, no FOMO, right? If you missed a put option, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? There are other assets you can try to trade if you're a bull or a bear. Okay, that's one lesson I learned in my experience these past couple of years is that especially in the crazy COVID stock market and crypto markets, is there's always like another trade. There's always going to be another trade, right? Because even after this Tesla crash in the beginning of January, how long do we have to wait for some kind of bottom? 2 months, 4 months. Okay, so the next Tesla trade for long, it might take like 6 months from now. It's just patience, right? If you're a bull. If you're a put option, I mean, the best time was like that 1200 range, just like Taylor's play, Taylor's trade. But for now, let's try to refresh our minds and try to look at it objectively because like when an asset becomes so famous and popular, sometimes you could get biased in either direction. So what I like to do is just try to chart it fresh. Do you know what I mean? So regardless of somebody, if you or somebody you knew like had profits or losses, we always try to approach charts objectively if we can. So weekly, we do have this downtick right here on the MACD and the MACD histogram. So, and the monthly, we do have an evening star pattern. So just those two alone on long term, we might see continued downside on Tesla long term, like 6 months, 3 months, 6 months. Because if you compare this RSI MACD to, let's say, a Bitcoin, right? Let's just flip back and forth for a second. Bitcoin looks like this, right? Came down and you have the RSI bounce and the MACD is pointing up. That is bullish. If you look at Tesla, you do not see that, right? I don't see that on this chart. It doesn't look like that. The only good thing about Tesla is it looks like I mean, they obviously lost $900. We lost this, what is it? The gap support here. And the next large downside target might be 800 if we happen to ever get down there, right? It's a long ways down, but it looks like lower low, lower high. Somewhere we might get down there, right? So if somebody's a bull on Tesla, you want to wait for lowest low price possible if you're still bullish on the company and the products. That's something you want to watch out for. Also, we have Tesla earnings in February 2nd, 2022. So I just want to watch out for that. So we just stick to the TA here. And you can see we lost the wedge. So what's the wedge measurement? It's 15% to downside. Who knows if we're going to go to $772 Tesla? Maybe. But this is certainly a target down here at the 200 EMA 618 zone for longer term. If you're a 5-minute, 15-minute day trader, it's a totally different story because it looks like it might want to bounce up tomorrow or something, right? Because if you're a day trader, you want to watch out for this kind of stuff where in the morning you get a quick bounce up, bounce. So we might get a bounce tomorrow to the upside back up to like 932 on Tesla. So I'm gonna watch out for that. Watch out for that kind of stuff that happens in the market here, like a 930 bounce. Certainly downtrending on the hour. So again, it just depends on what kind of trader you are, your time frame. Are you a bull or a bear? Did you call options or put options? What style are you? Are you scalper? Are you a day trader? Are you a swing trader, medium term? Are you an investor? Do you hold for long periods of time? It's totally different mindset for those three short, medium, and long-term time frames. Let's check on Rivian as well. Check on Rivian. So here we go. I remember we talked about this on Rivian. So it was a potential upside down head and shoulders here. This is why we put 2 alerts, because right here, if you could see my alert label, it says RIVN support level breakdown short play right at 114. If it was going to break out above 122, that was our long play. All right. So this is a very, very critical lesson here on support and resistance levels, because this is how professionals do it. They set their resistance and they set their support, and they might see a pattern or two or something like that. We saw the potential upside down head and shoulders, and we measured that, and we said it might go 70% to the upside, which would be the first target. But if it breaks down, it's going exactly 17% down. Shorts loving this setup right here. And what was the clue? If we look very, very carefully on Rivian, if we look very carefully, all right, if we look very, excuse the background noise. If we look very, very carefully, lower low, lower high, lower low, no bounce attempt right here. We opened right here, no buyers, shorts take over. There could have also been bad news in here. The earnings report, actually, excuse me, it was the earnings report. They played that perfectly. So here's an example where earnings can destroy a stock. Okay, you don't have enough good earnings and revenue or good news. The shorts are waiting to attack this play. So we want to remember this. This is why, another reason why I don't, because I've experienced this so many times with so many companies, is this is why for the first like day or two, I do not touch a negative earnings stock. This is exactly why. This is case in point. I do not touch this as a bull long. If you're short or put options, they're so excited on this particular day. I still remember that. So just want to watch out for that. Now, the question is, okay, if I'm a bull, what am I looking at here? Where are we going with this thing? Still amazing. Taylor with some wonderful trades. 50% return put options. I mean, you just beat the market 500 to 1000% returns. This is like amazing, because the average stock return is 10%. So if you made 50% or 175% on any trade that you made this year, you just beat the market 5 to 10 times. There are fund managers who can't even do that. Okay. So I'm so happy to hear that, there's people in this, in the group, in the live chat, that are actually profiting in the marketplace using technical analysis. And if we don't FOMO and try to day trade, scalp every single candle, yeah, we have a chance. Manage our risk. And the key is with, for example, for Taylor's 2 successful trades, is she actually sold it, right? That's the key. So for example, like if somebody does a short, like here, for example, okay, the stop loss would be 6% above. The stop loss would be up here in this gray line, right? So you have to have a stop loss, physical, if you're trading, so you don't have infinite losses, right? And then you have a take profit target. So the take profit, the first one was here at the bottom support, about like $100 range. That's a perfect target. Somewhere in here, anywhere in the $105 to $100, that was a perfect target. So it's just, it looked like it might have bounced on the second day. There's a hammer candle. So a lot of people probably exited on this particular day because it's gapped down. Hammer candle, we might get a bounce, but no, continuation to downside. So this looks like people shorted it down. They took their profit and then they opened another short and put option to the downside. That's what it looks like people did. So Rivian, just the final targets to downside, like where are we going here? Let me see if I can reverse Fibonacci this thing. Could try this and then flip it. This is very advanced what I'm doing here. Like most people should not be flipping their indicators, but we could see. So now we have 2 targets to the downside, 1272, $71, and then wow, $43 Rivian. it's even possible. Okay, there's another intermediate Fibonacci in here that I think I turned off, but that technique, I don't really show that to people too much because it's sometimes way too advanced. People get confused about that. So that's just a trick for Fibonacci. So people know about that target. Another way to find that target would be if we look at the bottom of the head and shoulders, you can see now between the two gray lines, there's a measurable pattern here. So 16 to 30% to the downside. 60% is where we just ended up today, approximately. Right, so 89%. 32% would be this target, the $70. So I would not be surprised if we end up on $70 RIVN. But be careful because day traders, they already got a little bit of relief bounce today. So you kind of want to watch out for that. 15-minute, 1 hour double bottom. It looks like it wants to pop up. 4 hour, any day now, we might get a pop up on this thing. Double bottom 4 hours. So it's looking more like a long setup. But long term, like 3-6 months from now, if the stock market crashes, you can see Rivian pull down. Okay. I think we're gonna end soon. What I do want to look at is just maybe just a quick few big stock movers. Okay, right off the bat, we're on Lucid right now. Lucid. Great, wonderful, wonderful. Managing risk. See, this is another important example that Taylor was pointing out in the live chat. She's saying that basically she pulled all the original money, the original principal out, and then just letting the profits or just using the profits as capital or letting the profits run. That is a very disciplined skill set that every trader needs because, for example, let's say I went long Lucid Group here, just on this random spot and on the uptrend here. I need the stop loss. As a trader, you always need a stop loss. Physical stop losses are good. Like you actually have a hard stop loss in the system for stocks because sometimes the gap's down or sometimes you don't wake up or sometimes you're busy, life happens, and then you forget about your investment or trade, right? And then if it goes to the downside, you just lost money for no reason, right? So you need to have a maximum dollar risk, maximum percentage risk, controlled capital. And then the opposite of that is if you happen to buy the trade at the correct spot and it's uptrending a lot, you still need to have a take profit target, right? You can't just leave the stop loss down here forever. You professional traders, what they do is they move the stop loss up. They use a trailing stop loss or they move it up manually at a certain percentage. Let's say it starts going up, then they might put their stop loss here or at break even at least, or a little bit above that. Then if it goes way up, then they move it here, right? If it goes way up, then they move it here. If it goes up here, then they move it up, and then eventually it's going to top out, and then they're going to let the market stop them out and take their profit. That's how a lot of professionals do it, or they sell in partial orders on the way up, and just make sure they're locking in their green profit or whatever profit color, whichever direction you're on. It's still green profit, but they're managing that risk. A lot of times what happens with people, and it's it happened to me in my career too, is if you don't put a stop loss or the trade was just wrong and you don't sell it, that's how you lose massive amounts of money, right? If you put too much money in and you don't manage the risk with the stop loss or take profit and the trade goes against you or the chart was wrong or the idea was wrong and you don't manage the risk and sell and cut your losses short, let your profits run. If you don't cut your losses short, that's how people lose a lot in the market. Okay. So what am I seeing here on Lucid is the head and shoulders. This is probably the biggest head and shoulders on stocks that I've seen in a while. This is huge, very large. If this happens to be true, it's a bearish pattern of negative 50%. Wow. What? That would bring us back down to $18 Lucid, which I would not be surprised because that's a 786 Fibonacci. It might bounce here at $27, but watch out for Lucid Group. If you lose $35 Lucid stock price and the stock plus the stock market crashes, you might see some serious pain on Lucid Group. The only thing that could save this is some bullish news on the industry or LCID, and then we need to bounce out of here. But This is where I need to set alerts on this. This is too big of a head and shoulders to ignore this, to be honest. So 3620, we got to set alerts. Let's put it at 36. LCID, head and shoulders for breakdown, short play entry. This is what this is how we get ahead of the market. And now I'm going to put a alert at 4140 just in case LCID uptrend full reversal long entry play. If you have a Pro Plus account or a premium account, it's always good to put some alerts on very obvious trade setups like this. I mean, experienced traders, they see this from a mile away. I mean, this jumped out 2 seconds right when I turned this chart on today. So watch out for Lucid. Let's take a look at AMD. You can see AMD, it's not exactly the same. It's mixed. AMD is different, okay, because we have I would say potential head and shoulders. But the most recent price action is an upside down head and shoulders. So there's a battle. The bears want to push it down. The bulls want to push it up. Because AMD is such a nice company, nice products. But in this particular case, I would just Fibonacci this and we'll play the zones. Play the prices of 138, 131, 125. Those are very interesting spots of value. So AMD, you could do the same, even if you don't have this Fibonacci yet. Do the same support resistance play like that. And you set your 2 alerts, which on this particular one, I'm not going to do it right now. But you could set your alerts and the measured move is 9% up or down, maybe 4% at first. So 9%, if we go back up, it's 162 target. If we break down, 9% is 120, and that would be our 618 zone, if I'm not mistaken. Right there, 618, 120. So multiple technical indicators are lining up if it's going to work out. We already lost a trend line. Okay, now it's the bulls' attempt to say, can we save the stock market? Can we save AMD? If we can, you might see some continued downside if we lose 133 to the downside. I can guarantee with a certain amount of certainty or predict with a certain amount of probability is this shorts and puts are targeting 133.81 right there. As soon as you lose that, they're going to try to push the stock down as far as they can to make money, and then they're going to stop and bounce. Watch out for that on AMD. All right, let's do a couple more here. Let's do some big players. American Airlines. Ooh, American Airlines. We draw this here for a long time. We have a downtrending channel. Somebody asked me for this like 2 months ago. This channel is still here. Channel's still here. Why did I put the blue labels? I was telling that person on the stream, we're at the top of this channel. On Hood, we'll check that out too. There's a technical setup here. I was telling this person we had the resistance up here on the top. And I was saying, watch out. I highlighted this on blue on the bottom, saying this is the support zone. Because you can see here a support channel. So we have a double bottom potential on American Airlines, although people are not really traveling right now, but there's a definite bounce opportunity here on American Airlines if people can capture the bounce. This is like a UNG as well, right? 6%, 5% to the upside. Very interesting play, right? This could be a fundamentalist. You put a 5% stop loss right below like target 10%, but with COVID Omicron, maybe it's going to happen. It's just this is a technical chart setup that if somebody wants to take that, very interesting play. All right, NVIDIA, we have to talk about this really quick because, again, you're seeing this head and shoulders type of action happening on many tech stocks. This is not good. This is not good. This could be a bearish setup here on NVIDIA. 10% to downside is huge. That brings us down to 250 right in the 618 zone. Excuse me. Right into the 618 zone, right down here to 250. So I want to watch out for that. A lot of these stocks, you just lost a trend line. You just lost momentum. Now it's a matter of how far can we drop and where are we going to hold on these prices. Careful in stocks. So I just want to point out to people again, the stock market does not look like the Bitcoin charts. Okay. I hope people can understand that now when we flip between these two charts, they're not the same. They're not the same. So stocks have room to fall. So do we have direct correlation between stocks and crypto? No, not really. But crypto looks like it wants to bounce, while at the same time stocks looks like it wants to fall. Very interesting correlation here between stocks and crypto. Let's look at Robinhood. Everybody's favorite, Robinhood. Oh, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Right here off the bat on Robinhood, this is looking more like crypto. You have a deep, deep retracement down, lower low. Let me see. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. And you can see the 5-weight Elliott wave pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has been completed. It's oversold. RSI, you have MACD momentum. Robinhood could bounce. Technicals do confirm what people are saying about fundamentals, that Robinhood is undervalued, certainly below our IPO starting price of $35. Let's use that as a reference, just in the gray line here. It's down 50% from the IPO price. From the all-time high, it's down 80%. From the counterbody close, 75%. So it is in the general range where Robinhood might be done selling off soon. This is where it's going to separate. Longer term, like a weekly, monthly, it might not be the bottom, but for swing traders, this is a very nice setup. Could be a nice long setup here. Because you do see, this is we have the trend line. You could draw a simple trend line, draw one line. If we break up above $20, then you're going to see short squeeze and you're going to get bull momentum to the upside, possibly up to $25. How much percent is that? That is a lot, 30%. This is under the assumption, though, that the stock market does not suddenly crash in the next 2 weeks. Okay, so just because one chart looks very nice as a trade, it's not going to guarantee that this thing's going to pump up and bounce. But certainly the charts, in terms of RSI momentum, where we are in this particular spot right now in time looks way better than up here. Up here, I was not willing to buy. I'm actually willing to consider buying Robinhood now, either for trade or investment. Probably just trade though. Now because we've fallen down negative 50% with the upside down head and shoulders on the RSI, MACD momentum pointing up. I don't see it. There are some hammer candles here, but this is where that risk is. If you're going to play the trade, it might go up. And again, the S&P 500 represents about 80% of the stock market. So there's always about 10 to 20 stocks, 20%, 10 to 20%. That's just going to do something else. So Robinhood might be one of those stocks. If we get enough momentum on this, you could see a nice bounce on Robinhood. So definitely, I'm going to put some alerts on this one. This is a beautiful setup chart. I like this. As a swing trader, you want to burn this image into your mind for setups, or not burn it, but it's like memorize this, what it looks like. If you're a long green bull swing trader like I am, this is what we hunt for in the market. This is what we like. We do not like, for example, let's go back to like Tesla. We do not like this. We do not like this picture. If you're a long bull, it's too high. It's too high. We already missed the bottom of the move, right? A swing trader, you're going for deep value like this down here. You want low price, not high price as an investor. So if you keep buying low price at the right time using technical analysis, the chances are much greater than 50%, at least greater than 40 to 50%, that you're going to catch the bounce. Now, what could really screw things up is if someone like panics, right? Let's say you buy and then wake up tomorrow and you're down 5%, you just panic sell. There is no point in the trade. So you have to understand your time frame, risk management, how much money you're using, how much money you're willing to risk, and the stop loss, what your take profit target is. On stocks, it's very easy to do a triple, one cancels the other, OCO triple order, meaning that you set up your stop loss and your take profit order, and you buy. Let's say if I buy tomorrow at $18.10, you set the stop loss manually. Actually, if you do OCO order, you have to set the stop loss and the take profit, and then you just literally let go of the trade. Literally, that's all you have to do. If you find a good setup like this, right? And you could see here, just like what was it, RIVN, as soon as we lost $34.51, After the earnings, there's like a double bottom attempt after earnings, and then shorts took over and they destroyed this thing. But shorts are gonna have to stop. I would love to see ABC correction on this, on hood. So let me set up some alerts. Just for me, it's a $20 breakout. $20 breakout is what I'm looking for as a long bull. Very beautiful trade. Chart. This is what you want to see. Because if you scan through the stock market, not everything looks like this chart. That's why you're finding some diamonds in the rough here in the market. It's kind of like you're shopping for whatever whatever you like to buy, right? Let's say I'm at the grocery store, I'm looking for like whatever I'm trying to buy. You're gonna have to walk through and look at some stuff, other products before you find your item. And then once you find your item, you're probably gonna look for the better item, right? Let's say I'm trying to buy like fruit or something or vegetables out of my market. Is I walk to the market, I need to find it first, and then once I find it, I'm gonna, unless I'm in a rush, maybe I'll look at one or two and try to pick a good one, right? So same thing similar with stocks is you come into the market and you're looking in the market, you're looking around. What can I buy? Do I want to buy this now? Is this good? Yes or no? If I'm not going to buy it now, maybe where am I going to buy it later, right? That's the kind of like mindset you should have. If you're a swing trader or investor, if you're an investor, you're looking at financial fundamentals, you look at the products, the executive suite, the services, the company finances, all that stuff. But if you're just doing technical analysis, right, using charts, is you're hunting for chart setups. And so you need to know what you, hold on, I'll explain after this alert. You need to know what you're looking for is what I'm saying. It's long entry, potential on hood, oversold bounce play daily. So let's not get too hyped. I know I'm getting excited about it. It's just because if you look at charts all day and it's not the setup, but then you find your setup, it's like, ooh, that's great. But don't get too hyped on it because it can keep crashing. Yeah, let's just double check here. Did we hit the target? It's not. It could go a little bit lower because if you measure the triangle itself, what is that? 66%. Did we go? We didn't really go 66%. So I'm just saying, at some point down here, some point, it might not be today. Robinhood might bottom out somewhere down here and bounce. So we got TLT. About this one, we look at the 20-year Treasury bond ETF. Very important to look at this. We're going to end soon. I went 30 minutes over today. But some really good charts today. So TLT. Why does this matter? It matters because the bond market, the bonds, the Treasury bond has a strong effect on stocks itself and the Federal Reserve tapering program. So first thing we need to do is maybe get some support resistance and trend. So obviously the monthly chart, you have a super uptrend. Might not be the cleanest chart. Here we go. And pull it back to downside as such. All right, so it's in like this upward wedge. I like to call it a cone. It's going up in a cone, obviously, on the monthly. The weekly, though, we did have our pullback down here as a stock market rally. So here is where I'd like to get some support resistance up, like that. Make sure it's not reversed. And the retracement itself. So we did pull back to almost our 618. It is still an uptrend. Just golden cross uptrend. So watch out for that. This is a very interesting Razak requested this on YouTube. Hopefully you're still here. Watch out for this because what is this looking like to me? It's looking like to me a golden cross on the daily. It just started right now. So if you understand trend and EMAs, this thing could trend for a year. Uptrend. I'm circling it for you guys now. For the viewers now. The followers. This is it. For the bond ETF, the Treasury, we might see uptrend continuation for a year. Okay, and the interpretation of that, I'm going to leave that to whoever's watching this. Ascending triangle as well. I mean, it's multiple patterns here. We could get 10% upside on this to the 167 to the upside. Watch out for that. There's an ascending triangle staring us in the face. So at a certain point, if you keep analyzing charts and you're relentless and you don't give up, and even if you have profit or loss, you know, you work through your problems, you learn from it, you try to get 1% better every day or every week or every month, and you don't give up, the setups will just come to you on the chart, right? We had to wait 1 year for this ascending triangle, basically, or 9 months to set up, but now it's literally ready, ready to break out soon. Watch out, stock market. We gotta watch out. Okay. I think it might be good to end here. Might be good to end here for today's stream. I know I went over a lot, but I hope everybody learned something. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining today's live stream. I am live streaming on TradingView, YouTube, Twitch. We have a free Discord group if anybody wants to join that, where we have a free weekly watch list and some stock and crypto charts monthly. I also publish the ideas on my TradingView profile, which is public. And again, for anybody who's trying to do stocks, this Friday is a stock market holiday in the USA. It's Christmas Eve, it's Christmas weekend. It's probably the biggest holiday of USA. Families get together, friends get together. My free Discord, TradingView does not allow me to post links. So if you just go to my TradingView profile, there's a link at the top. Let me just double check. You could find it in there. There's a link, my website, which is the Discord for now. So yeah, if you click the website button, that's the Discord link, or if you scroll down, you could find it in the About Me page. Let me see if I could just post it because somebody asked. There we go. That's the free Discord because somebody asked me for it. So hopefully people are learning, and people are, we're all getting better at charts and risk management. And again, if you miss trades this year, it's okay. There's going to be more trades next year, green or red. That's the beauty of stocks and crypto. As long as it still exists, there will be trades in the future. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a nice holiday week and weekend. Happy holidays, everybody. Try to find some positivity and happiness this week. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice one. See you next time.